નમસ્કાર, હું છું નીરુ અને આપ જોઈ રહ્યા છો અમારી વિશેષ રજૂઆત રૂબરૂ નીરુની એક વિશેષ રજૂઆત લઈને હું જોડાઈ ગઈ છું તમારી સાથે TV9 ગુજરાતીના ડિજિટલ પ્લેટફોર્મ પર અને આજે મારી સાથે હાજર છે એક ખૂબ જ સ્પેશિયલ ગેસ્ટ મિસ્ટર ડેવિડ જે રેન્સ જે કાઉન્સિલ જનરલ છે યુએસ કોન્સ્યુલેટ જનરલ મુંબઈના તો આપણે વાત કરીએ મિસ્ટર ડેવિડ જે રેન્સ સાથે વેલકમ ટુ TV9.
Thank you, Nero. I'm very pleased to be here.
Yeah, same here. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I just had a fabulous day in Surat. Really enjoyed everything that I did. Little rainy, but you can't control the weather. And I was inside most of the time, so it was fine.
Yeah, I can see the happiness on your face, the excitement, the charm of Surat city. So, is this your first visit to Gujarat?
It's not my first visit to Gujarat. I've been to Gujarat many times, but it is my first visit to Surat. Surat has been a place I've wanted to visit for a long time, but with all the restrictions and the situation with the pandemic, I had to postpone the visit. So I'm really excited to be here.
Well, I saw a few of your pictures and your post on your Twitter handle, and I was amazed to see that you arrived by train to Surat station. So, how was your journey?
The journey was great. I love taking the train. I think the train is one of the best ways to see a country. It's more relaxed than being in a car, and you get to see the scenery. You get to see the farm. The train ride from Mumbai to Surat is particularly beautiful because it comes along the coastlines. There's a lot of scenery.
Oh, that's wonderful. So, how was your journey? Did you really enjoy the journey of train? So, was this your first experience?
I took a train long. Agra and from Delhi to Gwalior, but that was 27 years ago, and this was the first time since I moved to Mumbai 2 years ago. This was the first time I had taken a train. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. So, what is the USP of this tour?
What is the US what? Sorry.
What is the USP? What's the unique selling point of this tour? You said you have visited Gujarat earlier, and this time, what is special about this tour?
Well, so this time around, we're taking a road trip through Gujarat. So we start in Surat. We're going to the Statue of Unity tomorrow, and then on to Vadodara. And I'll spend a couple of days in Vadodara. And then from there, we'll travel on to Ahmedabad and end up in Ahmedabad. And we'll be addressing all of our strategic priorities in Western India. So our focus in Western India is on the promotion of trade and investment between US and India, women's economic empowerment, promotion of higher education cooperation, and particularly enabling Indian students to go to the United States, and then support of civil society. And just today alone, in my meetings, we touched on all of those issues. I met with, we visited Kiran Gems, a visit that was hosted by the Gem and Jewelry Economic Promotion Council, and we talked about the trade of diamonds to the United States. As I'm sure you know, 9 out of 10 diamonds processed in the world are processed right here in Surat, and 20% of all of the diamonds that are exported from India are exported to the United States. So that was an opportunity to talk about trade and investment. Then I went to Oro University, which has a number of partnerships with American universities. And Oro University also has a hospitality and management school, and they're partnered with Marriott hotels chain. So I'm staying in a Marriott. In fact, I'm talking to you from a Marriott. And this Marriott is part of Oro University's training program. They also have a hotel on the campus, and they work with Marriott. Their students go to the United States for internships that can be up to a year long. So that was a combination of the sort of higher education cooperation. That just this evening I had dinner with WICI, which is the Women's Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And it's a new, Surat branch was just established less than a year ago. And it's a new organization that's focused on empowering women, particularly women entrepreneurs, which is something that we care about deeply. And then I also really want to mention—
Sorry to interrupt, but you mentioned about this diamond thing.
Yeah.
So did you get a chance to visit and see how these diamonds are polished and how they are made?
Yes, I did, and it was incredibly fascinating. I had absolutely no idea how complicated and also how computerized it is. I mean, they would produce this very small raw diamond, and they scanned it like an MRI in a hospital. So they would create a computerized 3D image of the diamond, and then that gets sent to a cutter who actually cuts the diamond. It was a fascinating experience to watch how that I've seen diamonds my whole life, but I had no idea what actually went into creating the diamond. And it was fascinating to hear about the history of Surat's diamond industry and how it went from a relatively small thing in the 1970s to this one city dominating the whole world industry of diamond cutting and polishing.
So how many of them did you buy?
I can't afford the diamonds. They're too expensive.
Really? So, there's a famous saying in Gujarati, Surat nu jaman ane Kashi nu maran. That means Surat's food is kind of heavenly. It has got that heavenly taste. So did you try, how many foods did you try in Surat?
Well, so I got we had a wonderful experience last night. We went to a small local Surati chain, and which specializes in locho. And I'd never had locho before.
Wow.
Unique opportunity, and we had all different kinds of locho. We had locho. We also had, including ari. There we are. I'm eating locho. And it was delicious. I mean, honestly, this is one of the things I love about India is I'll go to a new city and I'll try a food that I've never even heard of, much less tried. And every one of them is delicious and unique and just, it's so amazing. In the United States, when you grow up with Indian food, I mean, it's delicious, but it's all from the same part of India. And being here in India and seeing the incredible diversity of different flavors and spices and everything, it's amazing. So I always love to try new food, and I really appreciated being hosted to try locho.
So are you really able to digest that spicy taste, spicy food?
I love spicy food. Spicy food, there's no food too spicy for me.
So did you try that chili pickle? Marchanu athanu?
Yeah. One of my favorite parts. I poured the chili pickle in large. I ate it just with a spoon on its own, but I also poured it all over all of my locho.
Wow, that's great. So do you really remember the name of the dishes you had?
I try to. I mean, I don't always remember, but I certainly try to do so. Neera, I wanted to mention one thing before we close, because the most important stop today, I visited the Surat Municipal Commission Corporation. I met with the municipal commissioner, and we talked about particularly about the way in which the city has embraced green energy and green technologies. But I wanted to highlight a particular project which is really important to us. So the U.S. government has been supporting India's health sector for many, many years, 70 plus years. And we visited a tuberculosis project. So U.S. Agency for International Development, which is part of the U.S. government, is financing a project in partnership with SMC and an organization called World Health Partners, in partnership with the National TB Elimination Project and program. And that program is Prime Minister Modi's goal to get to an elimination of TB in India by 2025. So this project has two components. The first component is using digital technology and cell phones, that kind of thing, to help patients monitor their drug regime. So healthcare monitors can remotely see if patients are following their drug regime, and if somebody misses a pill, they can follow up with them directly. This is a remarkable project. In the space of only 22 weeks in Surat, they got the adherence to the drug regime from 78% to 95% in just 2 weeks, which is an incredible result. And now Surat has the highest adherence of any city in Gujarat as a result of this pilot program. And the other part of the project was providing mental health support, because TB patients face all sorts of mental health issues, both as a result directly of the disease, but also the stigma that surrounds the disease. And it's critically important that people understand that it's a completely treatable disease, so there's no reason for there to be any stigma around it.
Right.
But people are extremely anxious when they hear that they have TB, and so this program was designed to help them get through the process. They're two remarkable projects that we're very proud to have been part of, and I really wanted to mention them to your viewership.
So working towards the strong bonding between US
Yes.
and India, especially Surat, yeah.
Cooperation and the many ways in which our relationship brings our two countries together for the betterment of both of our peoples.
Well, here goes my last question. What comes first to your mind when we talk about Surat? Tell me 3 things.
Well, diamonds is going to come first no matter what, because there is
Lovely.
nothing dominates more around the world than diamonds. I'm looking forward to Zales in New York sometime and saying, all those diamonds you've got there, they all come from a city called Surat. Have you ever been to Surat? Do you know where Surat is? Well, I'll be tell you about Surat.
That's
so that
really
will be number,
That's
number
something
2.
to be proud of. Yeah.
The municipal commission is really dynamic, and the projects that they're implementing to create a clean environment for Suratis, electric buses, and they have this new program for pink electric rickshaws that it's a women's empowerment program. I just found the municipal commissioner and his entire team to be incredibly dynamic and really committed to making Surat a city of the future. So that would be number 2. And then, food's always going to be on my list. So locho will definitely be number 1.
Locho, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us and giving us so much time. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Nero. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. So મિત્રો, આ હતી અમારી વિશેષ રજૂઆત. તો રૂબરૂ નીરુમાં હાલ બસ આટલું જ, પણ વધુ સમાચારો માટે આપ જોતા રહો TV9. Goodbye.